Chapter 21. Damien's POV. What the hell is going on? I was completely horrified by the view in front of me. My sister and my friend. This is unacceptable. Both of them sprang apart, both breathing heavily, lips swollen and hair messy. If I were any more late, I don't know what they would have done. Ugh, I don't even want to think about that. I felt a soft, small hand on my arms, and I relaxed a little. I am still furious. If you don't want me to kill someone tonight, then explain what is going on, I yelled. Both had the same terrified expression. Adam opened his mouth to say something, but Nina beat him to it, and the words that came out left me speechless.
He's my mate, Damien. We are each other's second chance, like you are Issa's.
I don't know what to reply to that. Nina found her mate on her birthday, 6 months from today. When she turned 16, just like Adam, she found her mate quiet early. He was the chef of the pack house. He was a good match for her, though they were completely opposite. They balanced each other. But one day the rogues had attacked, and he died, saving Nina. It had taken her quite some time to be back to her normal self again, but she did. And now this. I didn't say anything and sat on a couch, my face emotionless. I felt Bella sit next to me. I pulled her on my lap and inhaled her scent, honey and cinnamon. I calmed down a bit. I finally came to my senses. When? I asked. Adam sighed. Today, I came to the Howler's Pack to meet the Alpha. He needed our help for something. For some odd reason, he told me to come from the forest side. When I reached, I felt my wolf howl and a sense of happiness bloomed inside me. Then I saw Nina, coming from inside the house, and I knew she was my second chance. And I was the one she was speaking to. When you saw us... He finished, and Nina continued her part.
I was really restless that morning, so I thought of going for a run. Then I saw Adam coming from the forest, and like he described, I knew he was my second chance. He tried to convince me to accept him, but I was not sure. After all, you and Adam don't get along. So I told him I'll think about it and left.
I closed my eyes and sighed. I looked at Bella. Just looking at her face calms me down. She ran her fingers through my hair, and I groaned. Okay then, what can I do when you two were destined to be together? Now that I have found my mate too, I know how it feels. Both of them had a smile on their faces. Then I turned to Adam. But if you hurt my baby sister in any way, I will cause some serious damage. He chuckled nervously and nodded. Then my eyes landed on a dead-looking Nate. Seriously, this guy sleeps like a log. Right now, the world could be ending, and he would still be found sleeping. I shook my head and chuckled. Continue what you were doing. We are going to sleep, I said, and picked up Bella in my arms. She squealed, but didn't protest. I still remember my room, in the manor, 2nd floor, 3rd room. I opened the door, and as expected, the room was the way I left it. Plain blue walls, white furniture, and a golden frame on top of my bed. I always wanted to have a big picture of me and my mate together, so I brought the frame. I can finally feel it. It won't be empty anymore. I closed the door with my leg and placed Bella on her feet. She looked around the room and smiled. I guess she liked the room.
Is this your room?
She asked, and I nodded.
It's really beautiful.
Mm-hmm. There was a knock on the door and I opened it while Bella made herself comfortable on the bed. Nina was standing there smiling. What do you want? I asked and raised an eyebrow. She made a sour face and stuck her tongue out.
I came here to give you some of Adam's pajamas, and also I brought Issa some clothes before coming here. Bye.
She huffed and handed me 2 small bags before turning on her heels.
Who is it?
Bella asked. I turned around and closed the door. Nina brought some clothes for you before coming here. and some of Adam's clothes for me. I gave her the bag and she smiled. I kissed her forehead and told her to change in the bathroom, and I will change here. I stripped off and wore Adam's clothes. They were quite comfortable. Then Bella came out of the bathroom, in short shorts and crop top. She looked heavenly. She sniffed the air a little and frowned. Then she looked at me, and her lips formed into an O. "What happened, baby? Any problem?" I asked. She just came to me and took hold of the t-shirt I'm wearing and sniffed it. I frowned. "What is she doing? Baby, what are you doing?" I asked her. Her nose scrunched up in an adorable manner, and I almost awed.
Whose clothes are these?
She asked, ignoring my questions. "Adam," I replied. She just shook her head and said,
Don't wear it. It doesn't smell like you.
"God, kill me now. She's so cute and innocent." "Your wish is my command, Your Highness." I did a little bow and she giggled. I decided to sleep in my boxers tonight, since my Bella doesn't want me to wear Adam's clothes. I stripped off to my boxers and saw Bella covering her eyes. Oh God, what am I going to do with her? I mentally chuckled. I slowly removed her hand from her eyes and kissed her cheeks. "Baby, if you feel uncomfortable, then tell me. I will sleep in my clothes then, okay?" "It's no problem at all," I said, and she shook her head.
No, it's okay. It's just that I've never seen a man so naked before.
She said quietly, looking at my face as if avoiding to look down. "Okay then, let's go to sleep, okay? We leave tomorrow morning. We can have breakfast on the way to your pack," I said, and helped her under the covers. It looked as if she's drowning in the covers. I kissed her nose lightly and laid down on the other side. Switching off the lamps, I turned around to face Bella and wrapped an arm around her small waist.
Damien?
I mumbled, my eyes closed.
Where are we?
She asked. I opened my eyes and felt her turn around to face me. I brushed some of the hair off her face. "This is the mansion our parents gave to me, Adam, and Nate when we were young. It is like our headquarters. We hung out here. Most of the time of our lives we spend here," I explained and felt her nod.
Good night, Damien.
A smile formed on my lips and I kissed her forehead once again. "Good night, baby. Sweet dreams."
Chapter 22. Isabella's POV. A loud thud woke me up, followed by a string of curses. I tried to ignore it and snuggled into the soft fabric of the covers. After a few minutes, a soft hand brushed my cheeks, sending sparks through my body. Damien. His large hand caressed my cheeks lightly and brushed the hair from my face. I leaned against his touch and enjoyed the feeling.
"Baby, wake up. It's time to leave."
His soft voice made me sigh in content. How can he be called cruel and ruthless? He is such a sweet mate. I mumbled some words that definitely made no sense to him, or even me. I heard him chuckle and kiss my eyes.
"Wake up, princess. Everyone left already. We are already late."
At those words, my eyes flutter open. The first thing I see is the bright smile on his face. He leans in and gives my lips a short and sweet kiss. That makes my cheeks burn. It will take some time to get used to the kissing. What do you mean everyone left? It's so early, I said and got off the bed to use the bathroom.
"It's already noon, baby. You slept in."
He called behind me. I froze. Never in my life have I slept in. Once I did, and I learned my lesson to never do it again. I look at him. "Why didn't you wake me up?" I asked and stood in front of him. He was sitting on the edge of the bed, fully dressed. He wrapped his hands around my waist and pulled me between his legs.
"You look so peaceful while sleeping. I didn't want to wake you up, so I told everyone to leave, and we will leave later, in my car,"
he said, shrugging his shoulders.
"Now, get ready. It's a 3-hour drive. They must have reached the pack house."
I nodded and kissed his head and ran to the bathroom. I heard him laugh and let out a giggle of my own. I did my business and brushed my teeth. I came out and saw a dress laid on the bed for me. I pick it up, along with some underclothes from the bag, and get into the shower. After getting ready, I go downstairs. Damien is sitting on the dining table with a plate full of food in front of him, untouched. He sensed me coming and looked at me. His eyes skimmed me from head to toe and opened his arms for me. I didn't hesitate before going to him and leaned into his touch. He adjusted me on his lap to make me comfortable, and we both ate in silence, a comfortable silence. After our lunch, I packed whatever things were left here and there and met Damien at the garage. We got into his car and drove off. During the drive, he held my hand with his one hand and gripped the wheel with the other. I turned on the radio. Love Me Like You Do started playing. I liked the song, even if I never heard it before. I dozed off sometime later and woke up when the car came to a stop, or more like, jerked. I looked at Damien with a frown on my face. He gave me a smile and got out of the car. I looked outside the window and realized that we were in the middle of a gravel path. It was unknown area. There was no sign of civilization, only a few trees and flat land. I could make out by the color of the sky that it will be dark in a few hours. We have been on the road for so long? There was smoke coming out of the bonnet of the car. I could barely see Damien opening it and examining what was the problem. After a few minutes, he closed the bonnet and came in. There were black patches on his face. I took out the box of tissue from the dashboard and wiped the patches. He gave me a sheepish look. "What's the problem?" I asked.
The car broke down, and I have no idea how to fix it."
He sighed and closed his eyes. "You tried to call someone? Maybe..." He cut me off by saying,
I tried, but my phone has no network in it, and also the battery is low.
"We could walk. Maybe we will reach the pack house before dark."
About that, actually, I have no idea where we are. I was following the GPS, but somewhere in the middle of the drive it stopped working.
I gave him a "are you serious" look, and he just bit his lip and chuckled nervously. "What are we gonna do now?" I said at the verge of having a panic attack. Damien sensed my uneasiness and pulled me on his lap. He stroked my hair with his large hand and hugged me tightly.
Don't worry, baby. We'll stay the night in the car, and in the morning we can start walking, and maybe find some help. I guess I have some packed sandwiches in the bag, on the back seat. We can have that and sleep for now. I'm here, don't worry.
His words calmed me down a little. We ate the sandwiches and cleared the back seat to sleep in. We kept all our bags in the front. Damien laid down on the back seat, leaving no room for me. I stood there staring at him. He noticed me standing there and smiled. Suddenly, he pulled my hand, which caused me to fall, on top of him. He closed the door with his foot and adjusted me on top of him, my head resting on his chest and his legs tangled in mine. His left hand was under his head, and the other hand was wrapped around me tightly, almost possessively. He kissed my head and closed his eyes. "Good night, Damien."
Good night, princess. Dream of me.
That earned him a smack on his chest. He just chuckled and held me more tightly. The warmth radiating from him was comforting, and before I know it, I was deep asleep.
Chapter 23. Damien's POV. The first thing I noticed when I woke up in the morning was the soreness in my back. Sleeping in the back seat of a car and having your mate sleep on top of you is not a piece of cake. I shifted slightly to make myself comfortable, but that didn't go as planned. Instead, it woke up Bella. She shifted and raised her head. That was shoved between my neck and shoulder. I smiled at her, not wanting her to see him in pain. Good morning, baby. Did you dream of me as I told you? She gave me a bright smile in return, but it soon turned into a frown when she sensed my discomfort. She got off me and helped me sit up. She eyed me with concern. She grabbed my shoulder and turned me around, so my back was facing her. She pressed her soft hands on my back, the pain decreasing with every touch. Her hands were magical. I needed it. An unconscious groan escaped my mouth. She continued to massage my shoulders for a few minutes. Baby, I'm feeling much better now, thank you, I said, giving her a bright smile, which she returned. I grabbed her hands and kissed each of her fingers in both palms. Chapter 23. Damien's POV. The first thing I noticed when I woke up in the morning was the soreness in my back. Sleeping in the back seat of a car and having your mate sleep on top of you is not a piece of cake. I shifted slightly to make myself comfortable, but that didn't go as planned. Instead, it woke up Bella. She shifted and raised her head. that was shoved between my neck and shoulder. I smiled at her, not wanting her to see him in pain. "Good morning, baby. Did you dream of me as I told you?" She gave me a bright smile in return, but it soon turned into a frown when she sensed my discomfort. She got off me and helped me sit up. She eyed me with concern. She grabbed my shoulder and turned me around, so my back was facing her. She pressed her soft hands on my back, the pain decreasing with every touch. Her hands were magical. I needed it. An unconscious groan escaped my mouth. She continued to massage my shoulders for a few minutes. "Baby, I'm feeling much better now, thank you," I said, giving her a bright smile, which she returned. I grabbed her hands and kissed each of her fingers in both palms.
It's the least I could do. You had to sleep uncomfortably, so that I would have a nice sleep, so...
I cut her off. "Did you have a nice sleep, Bella?"
Yes, very.
She said brightly. "Then it was totally worth it." I leaned to kiss her, but she moved her head to the side, which made me kiss her cheek. I pulled back and groaned. Ugh. Sensing my frustration, she only giggled, which were music to my ears. I did my best to suppress the smile threatening to form on my lips. "What? Can't a wolf get his good morning kiss now?" I asked and glared playfully.
Morning breath.
She said and shook her head, covering her mouth with her hands. I grabbed her hand and pried them from her mouth, giving her a quick peck. I searched for a bottle of water. As soon as I found it, I gave it to Bella. She got out of the car and rinsed her mouth at the side of the road. I stretched my hands and looked around. I could only see flat land ahead. I have to think of something, and fast. Bella reached over and handed me the half-full bottle, and I washed my mouth. In hopes of fixing it, I checked the car again. I was a hopeless case. "Why did you buy such a useless car, you stupid oaf?" Dom said in a mocking manner. "How would I know all this would happen?" I shot back. "Do anything. Mate is not happy." His words were true, though. Bella was scared, but didn't show it. "Bella, I guess we have to abandon the car and move ahead. We can get help," I said. She nodded and smiled at me. "Wolf form or human?" I asked her. Even though I don't want her to tire herself by walking, it's her choice.
Human.
She said with a bright smile, and I raised an eyebrow.
I just want to.
"Okay, if that's what you want," I sighed, and grabbed the necessary stuff from the car in one hand and Bella's hand in another. We walked in silence, slowly making our way through the isolated path, but the presence of my mate held me together. Pulling her closer, I slipped my hand around her waist and kissed her cute button nose. After walking for 3 hours, Bella was regretting her decision now. She was too worn out to even stand straight. We are walking for 3 hours straight. At first, she was really excited for the adventure we were going to experience, and now she was sitting in the middle of the road, with her legs stretched out, groaning lightly. I chuckled and sat down beside her. I fished a water bottle from the bag. Opening the cap, I raised the bottle to Bella's lips. She took a greedy sip and sighed in content. I placed her legs on my lap and massaged them gently.
Damien, what are you doing?
Bella said, trying to take her legs off my lap. Trying to make my mate's pain go away, as she did to mine a few hours ago, I said, referring to this morning. She kept on protesting for some time, but gave in eventually. After I felt content with my work, I mentally patted my back when I saw Bella back on her feet, bouncing like a rabbit. It was getting sunny. The sun was full on blaring, and we were sweating like crazy. I removed my shirt and slinged it on my shoulder, but I couldn't feel better. How could I? My mate was sweating in front of me, and I couldn't do anything. I slipped the shirt back on. I cannot let my mate suffer all alone. I will suffer too. After an hour, we came upon a mutual decision to sit beneath a tree and eat something. After finding a fairly shady tree, we sat down. I searched through the bag and retrieved a plastic lunchbox filled with cookies. Why is there a box of cookies in the bag? I gave Bella a look and silently asked if she knew anything about the cookies.
Nina made some cookies the day before we left. She asked me to keep it in my bag, because hers was full. I guess everything happens for a reason.
She explained, and took the box from my hand and handed me a cookie. I shook my head, but ate it anyway. After we had enough, we packed the rest and started to walk again. The heat was not that bad now, as it was a few hours ago. The sky was a shade of golden now, indicating that it was evening, and soon it will be completely dark. And as if God finally took pity on us, I spotted a small light a few miles away. It looked like a pub from here. You know where big and scary guys go? Yeah, that. My suspicions were cleared when we reached the source of light. It was a pub. The loud music could be heard from outside, and I didn't want to take Bella inside. But I can't leave her outside either. The chances of finding a phone were slim, but still there. I took hold of Bella's hand, holding it firmly in mine. I turned to face her. "Don't let it go," I said sternly, and she nodded. I opened the wooden door and cringed at the strong smell of cheap alcohol. Bella stiffened beside me and I gave her hand a little squeeze for reassurance. I pushed past the huge bodies of drunk people and made it to the small counter where a scrawny and bald man was serving alcohol. He eyed Bella, and I instinctively pushed her behind me and held her wrist tightly. "What would you like to have?" he asked, and smiled, showing off his disgusting yellow teeth. "We would like to use a phone, please," I said, being as civil as possible, with these people looking at my mate as if she were a piece of meat. "Ah, yes, it's in the backside, just through the door." He pointed to an old beaten-up tin door. "Thank you," I said, and placed a hand on Bella's back, going through the door. I located the old telephone in the corner of the small room. I placed the holder between my ear and shoulder and pressed the keys. It started to ring. "Hello?" Nate's voice came from another side. I sighed in relief. "Nate!" I said happily. I swear, I was never this happy to hear his voice in my whole entire life. "Damien, where are you guys? We thought you guys eloped to Vegas to get married. We were worried," he exclaimed. I rolled my eyes. Only he could get these stupid ideas. "Nate, don't worry, we didn't elope anywhere. My GPS stopped working, and we got lost. My phone has a little battery remaining. Track down my number and come pick us up. We're near a small, freaky pub," I said. "On it," he said, and hung up.
Is he coming?
Bella asked, and I smiled and nodded. She sighed in relief. We left the pub and found a tree, comfortable enough to sit under, waiting for Nate. It was already dark, and I could tell Bella was tired and sleepy from all the walking. I laid her head on my lap and slowly stroked her hair. She slowly fell asleep. I kissed her forehead. Sleep didn't come to me. I was on high alert for any type of danger lurking around, or any sign of Nate. It's gonna be a long night.
Chapter 24. Isabella's POV. The sunlight shines in my eyes as soon as I open them. I blink a couple of times to adjust to the light. I rubbed my eyes and found that I'm in the backseat of a car. I raised my head and realized my head was on Damien's lap. I sighed in relief. At least he was with me. He had his eyes closed and mouth slightly parted. He was in deep sleep. I know he didn't sleep all night. He was on high alert. I got off his lap and sat next to him. I peeked at the driver's seat and saw that Nate was driving. He saw me in the rearview mirror and gave me a smile.
"Good morning, Luna. Did you sleep well?"
He asked. "Good morning to you too. And I slept well, thank you. When did you find us?" I asked.
"Oh, a couple hours ago. You guys managed to have a detour. You had to head towards west, but you went the opposite direction. Now it will take 2 more hours before we reach your pack house,"
he explained. Was Damien awake the whole time? When did he sleep? I asked while stroking Damien's hair lightly.
"He fell asleep as soon as he made you sleep on his lap. He said he was exhausted,"
he replied. I feel bad now. He was awake all night and I was sleeping peacefully. He must be really tired. I sat on the edge of the seat and pulled his head on my lap. It was time to return the favor. His hands wrapped around my waist, and he snuggled onto my stomach. I kept stroking his hair to make him feel at ease. Nate passed me a bottle of water and a wrapped chicken sandwich, which I took gratefully. I looked out the window inside. So much happened in just a couple of days. My kidnapping, Adam, Nina's second chance, us getting lost. I'm exhausted, physically and mentally. I pulled Damien closer to me and rested my head on the seat. After a few minutes, Damien's stirring caught my attention. I looked at him and caught him staring at me with a smile.
Good morning, baby,
he said in his deep, husky voice. He leaned forward and pecked my lips before resting his head on my lap again. Good morning. How are you feeling?
Good.
Then he turned his head towards Nate.
How long till we reach? 1.5 hours more,
he replied. Damien groaned and snuggled closer to me again. I rubbed his shoulders and felt him relax under me.
You are so amazing, baby.
I blushed at the compliment. No one has complimented me before. His words make me feel weird things in my tummy. So are you, I said back. He looks at me and smiles. Then he kisses my tummy, making it all tingly and closing his eyes. Oh God, what is he doing to me? He always makes me feel like this. His smile ignites a strange spark in my body. And don't let me start on the kisses. It feels like a freaking zoo in my tummy. I take a deep breath and compose myself. Before I know it, we reach the familiar driveway of my pack. Damien, wake up. We arrived, I said in his ears, but he showed no sign of waking up. I tried again and again, but to no avail.
Try calling him honey. Might wake him up,
Nate said and got off the driver's seat and to get the bags. I thought about it. Let's give it a try. It won't hurt to call him that. If he won't wake up, then he will not remember me calling him that. And if he does, then mission accomplished. Damien? Honey, wake up, we are back, I said softly and kissed his lips. I pulled away, but he held my neck from behind and placed my lips back on his. That sneaky devil. He kissed me softly, as if I will break. I kissed him back and closed my eyes, feeling that tingling in my tummy.
Hey, not in my car, you two,
Nate yelled from outside. I quickly let go, and Damien pushed himself off me. He rubbed his face and licked his lips, as if seeking for an aftertaste. I blushed and opened the door. I straightened my dress and got out. Damien following behind me, literally behind me. Nina is sitting on the couch in the living room, watching SpongeBob SquarePants. I shake my head and giggle. It catches her attention and she spots me staring. She smiles and throws herself at me. If it wasn't for Damien behind me, I would have fallen. Where were you two? You know how worried we were. How could you get lost when you have a GPS in your car? She exclaimed when she broke the hug.
I don't know how, but the GPS stopped working, and I took a few wrong turns, and we went in the opposite direction. Then my car broke down, resulting in us getting more lost.
Damien replied to her and wrapped his hands around my waist, hugging me from behind.
Alpha Damien, Isabella, we are glad you're back, safely.
I turned back and saw Alpha Mason and Luna Morgana approaching.
Yeah, we're glad too,
Damien replied, rolling his eyes. Yeah, well, lunch will be served in 15 minutes. Hope to see you there, Luna Morgana said and left. Oh God, just being in their presence gives me a headache, Nina exclaimed, and all of us chuckled. Damien and I cleaned up and went downstairs for a much-needed lunch, especially for Damien. He didn't eat anything since morning. We entered the dining hall, and much to my surprise, there were 2 empty seats at the table. Damien sat at his regular seat, and I went to sit on the empty one at the other end of the table, but he had other plans. He held me by my waist and dropped me on his lap, then continued eating as if nothing happened. Alpha Damien, there is an empty seat where Isabella can sit. You don't have to trouble yourself, Morgana said, touching his hands, giving him a concerned look. Damien was a little too quick to remove his hands from her hold, and dropped a glass of juice on her. She gasped and looked at Damien, eyes widened. The juice left a horrible shade of orange on her white dress.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Luna Morgana,
he said, not looking least bit sorry.
And it is my absolute pleasure to have my gorgeous mate sitting on my lap. It's no trouble.
he said with a smile in the end, mocking her. The silence of the room was broken when a warrior came in running,
Alpha, Luna, we're under attack.
and all hell broke loose.
Chapter 25. Damien's POV. Alpha, Luna, we're under attack. As soon as those words came out of his mouth, everyone stood up and started panicking. Seriously, these people need a break. We are alphas, trained to always be prepared for the war, during the war, and after war results. And here they are, hopping like kangaroos. I was seated in my seat, having my lunch peacefully, but then I felt Bella shaking. Why is she shaking? Because apparently they are under attack right now. She's scared. You buffalo, stop eating, Dom yelled in my head. Yeah, I knew that, and I'm not a buffalo, I shout back. Most of the time we talk, we only yelling at each other. I tighten my hold on Bella and turn her around to face me. Her expression was of pure horror and panic. That did it. I banged my hand on the table, sending all the plates flying, and whatever else around the room, and everyone froze. I cupped Bella's cheeks and gave her nose a small kiss. I looked around. Everyone was looking at me with weird expressions. Anger, confusion, frustration, fright, and even joy. The warrior that passed the message, if attacked, come forward, I ordered. The man came forward. He stood in front of me and bowed. Speak. What happened? Exactly what you saw, I said. I saw around 3 unknown and unusual wolves running in our direction and cross our boundary, he said. And you assumed they were attacking? How have you been trained? Just because these are some wolves running into your territory doesn't mean they mean harm, I sneer. These pathetic wolves. But what? Because of all this, my mate is terrified, I said. And look at Bella. Her big hazel eyes stared back at me. I smiled at her and held her to my chest, cradling her gently. Don't be scared, princess, I'm here. No one will hurt you. You trust me on this, right? She nodded her head, and I felt my wolf grinning in joy that our mates trust us. I stand up and lay Bella on her feet. I held her hand and went to the main door. As the boundary came into view, I saw 3 familiar wolves just outside the boundary line, panting. When they saw me, they stood up and bowed their heads. They are more powerful and larger than our other wolves, because they have alpha blood in them. Go behind a tree and put some clothes on, I mind-linked them. They obeyed and went to change. They all came back wearing basketball shorts and jerseys. The twin boys, Jared and Jacob, came back with their friend Michael, all grinning like fools. Alpha Mason, I want you to grant them permission to enter your territory, I said, more like commanded. He nodded his head and gave them permission. They immediately ran to me and hugged me tightly. All of them broke into a fit of laughter, and I cracked a smile. They got off and they greeted Nate and Nina. They were gone for a painfully long time, but now they were back, and I was beyond happy. So what are you rabbits doing here? I always called them rabbits because when they were young they would bounce more than they would walk, all 3 of them. Oh, Damien, quit calling us that now. You very well know we are not rabbits now, Jared said. What are you doing here? I asked again. Then I noticed how Bella was not with me. I spun around to look for her and found her standing near Nina. I sighed in relief and opened my arms for her so that I could hold her. She took small steps but came to me. I held her in my arms and looked at the 3 musketeers. Their eyebrows shot up, mouths hanging open, and an absolute shocked expression covering their faces. I held my urge to laugh at their faces. Close your mouths, idiots, I told them, and they shut their mouths. You have a mate, they said dramatically. Why is my life filled with crazy people? Of course, leaving my Bella. She is not crazy. Yeah, is that so hard to believe? I rolled my eyes. Yes, they are impossible.
Come in. We can discuss all that stuff inside,
Morgana said. I tugged at Bella's hand and we started making our way to the house. On the way, Bella suddenly lost balance. I caught her just in time. "What happened?" I asked, concerned.
Think I twisted my ankle. It's nothing.
She waved it off, but I wasn't having any. I picked her up bridal style and her arms wrapped around my neck. I pecked her lips and entered the house. Everyone was seated in the living room, waiting for us. It looks like the three made themselves comfortable, as they are sprawled upon two big couches. "Would you explain why they are in my land, Alpha?" Mason asked, eyeing them. "Hey, don't look at us like that," Michael said in an offended tone. "They are here to meet me," I said, and plopped down on an empty couch with Bella in my lap. "And why?" Mason asked. I didn't bother to answer that. I placed Bella beside me and pulled her leg on my lap, examining it, looking for any kind of injury. "Because we didn't see him for the past 4 years," Jared answered. "Oh God, there was a small bruise forming." "And why now, suddenly?" Mason asked. He has a lot of questions. "Because we wanted to," all three yelled in his face. I paid only half attention, though. There was also swelling on her ankle. It can get bad if not treated. I picked her up again.
Damien, what are you doing?
Bella asked. "You managed to sprain your pretty legs, Bella. We have to make it better." "I guess there is a spray in our room for it," I said, making my way upstairs. I heard footsteps thundering behind us, and I knew all three of them were following us. I placed her on the bed and brought the spray out. I carefully sprayed it on her ankle and covered it with a bandage. I looked at her with a triumphant smile, but she was not looking at me. She was looking at the door. I followed her gaze and saw Jared, Jacob, and Michael standing at the door, arms crossed.
Who are they, Damien?
Bella asked in a small voice. I sat beside her and kissed her forehead. "Baby, they are my brothers Jared and Jacob, the twins, and their best friend, Michael."
Chapter 26. How many siblings does he have that I don't know about? First Nina, and now the twins? He doesn't tell me anything about his family. Jared, Jacob, and Michael enter the room with big smiles.
"Hi, beautiful mate of my brother,"
Jared or Jacob says, holding his hand out for me to shake. I reply with a small, "Hi," and shake his hand.
"By the way, I'm Jared, and that serious one is Jacob. He's always serious."
His tone changes from funny to serious in a matter of seconds. "Hi." I give Jacob a small wave. He smiled back and gave a wave.
"That hunk there is Michael. He's our guardian angel. Saves us from all the shit,"
Jared said and wiped a non-existing tear from his cheek. So dramatic, but I think they are fun.
Baby, why don't you go spend some time with Nina and Nate? I'll get to you as soon as I finish talking to them, okay?"
I nod my head and he kissed me. "Bye." I wave at all of them and they wave back. I skip downstairs to meet Nate and Nina. I see them plop down on the floor with loads of junk food thrown on their laps and some shoved in their mouths. "Hey, guys, what are you doing?" I ask and walk closer to them, eyeing their mess. "Hey, Issa, did Damien finally release you from his hold? Finally, we can spend some time now. Come join us. We are thinking of watching Twilight series. Seriously, that movie is shit." Nina throws her hands in the air and huffs. I slid next to Nina on the floor, and Nate doesn't waste a second before dumping a heap of food on my lap. I look at him, and he just blinks at me, giving me an innocent look. I wave him off. "Hey, you! Can you put the DVD in that TV of yours? Thank you!" Nina yells at a random girl. The girl has no option but to do as she says. And so we start watching and eating. 4 hours later. The Twilight sucks. Seriously, I would prefer a werewolf over a dead man, even if I'm half asleep. Why would Bella choose Edward? 2 hours later. Great, now she is dead and turns into a vampire too? What about Jacob? He is so lonely, poor wolf. Half hour later. I can't take it anymore. I'm done. Guys, I don't think I can watch it anymore, I finally said with a huff. Thank God! Finally, both of them say at the same time. I look at them and they have bored and frustrated looks painted on their faces.
We were waiting for you to say those words so we could end this drama.
Nate says, throwing a handful of popcorn in his mouth. Yup. Nina leans against the couch, behind her, and rubs her flat tummy. Where is Adam? I didn't see him when he came back, I asked. Oh, he went back to his pack. I literally had to kick him out. He wouldn't budge. I said I will join their pack once I'm done here, she said. Then my thoughts drift to Damien. Where is he? I think I should check on him. Maybe he got himself in trouble? Not that I can do anything about it, but still. I go upstairs and enter our room. The view in front of me is so beautiful I almost awed. All the boys are sprawled on the king-size bed, half laying on each other. Game remote controls thrown in different directions, all looking so cute. Bromance. Aww, two voices say behind me. I turn around and see Nina and Nate looking at them with baby faces. I giggle but cover my mouth with my hand.
Let's take some pictures,
Nate whisper-yelled, taking out his phone. He snapped pictures from different angles. While taking a picture from the side of the bed and slipped on something, he fell on them. Me and Nina froze. All the boys were groaning from Nate's weight. Michael opened his eyes and immediately threw Nate off the bed to the floor. The others soon woke up too. Damien saw me and smiled. I smiled back. The boys got off each other and stood up. We all looked at each other and broke into a fit of laughter.
Oh, okay. Brother, I think we should get going. Mom needs us by morning, so we should leave now,
Jared said, and the other two nodded. Aw, but why so soon? I didn't even get to know you guys, I said and pouted.
Don't worry, little bird. We will meet you soon, and when we do, we will get to know each other really good,
Jacob said and dropped his hand on my shoulder. Damien frowned and not so subtly removed his hand from my shoulder and pulled me to his side.
Mine.
All started laughing at that. Oh God, he is so possessive, but I love possessive. I love him. We walked them to the door and see them off. When they reach out of sight, we bid each other goodnight and went to our rooms. Since we all had loads of junk food, we decided to skip dinner. Anyway, it was too late for dinner. It was nearly midnight. Damien took off his shirt, giving me a full view of his right pack. I just shamelessly ogle at his heavenly body. What can I say? My mate sure is an eye candy. Only for me, though. Wait, where did that come from? What is happening to me? Why am I thinking like this? It's the mate thing, Bella. You will be more attracted to him, and as confident and comfortable you will get, the more the mate bond will affect your thoughts, Nora said. So I'm a bad girl now? I've always thought of having a mate, but never thought what I will do when I find him. Till now he has been nothing but sweet and caring, and I know he will not change in the future. I think I can finally accept the mate bond and accept him. I gave him a chance to gain my trust, respect, and love. He has gained all of them, just in a matter of weeks. He even stayed here with me. Because of him, I could take a stand against my bullies. He gave me his love and treated me as if I was the center of his world. What more could a girl possibly dream of? He made my dreams come true. I realized I was standing at the same place and staring at him when he stood in front of me, a smirk plastered on his face.
You done checking me out, baby?
He said, wiggling his eyebrows. I blushed hard and avoided eye contact, thinking of an excuse. Actually...
Don't be shy, baby. It's all yours.
He gestured to his body. That made my cheeks burn like lava. I giggled and ran to the bathroom to change. I could hear his laughing all the way here. He seemed to be really amused by this. I'll give him a taste of his own medicine. I slipped on my short shorts, which are really short by the way, and a crop top, which shows half of my stomach and is a spaghetti strap. I had been reluctant to buy them, saying it won't be for any use, since I won't be wearing them. But they came in handy now. I will have to thank Nina later. I walk out of the bathroom and see Damien already in bed, scrolling mindlessly on his phone. I clear my throat a little, not trying to seem obvious. I don't pay attention to him and just get to my side of bed and slide under the covers, making sure to shake my hips a little. I turned the lamp off and laid down. I finally looked at him and saw him staring at me with eyebrows raised and mouth slightly open. I brought my hand up to his face and waved it. He blinked and took a couple of deep breaths. He turned the lamp on his side and laid down facing me. I faced the other side. He placed his hand on my waist and pulled me to him, my back touching his rock-hard chest. I could feel his hot breath on my skin. He was really close.
What was that, baby? Were you trying to tease me?
He whispered in my ear, sending shivers through my body. Was it working? I asked in the same whispering tone. He started to place small feather kisses down my neck to my shoulder. I almost made a sound but held it in.
You have no idea what you do to me, baby. You are so clueless to your actions. Just a smile of yours increases my heart rate. I am so lucky to have you in my life as my mate.
His words send a wave of warmth through my body, and my heart skips a beat. How can a man love someone so much? Is that even possible? I couldn't ask for a better mate. He is more than the best. His lips continue their assault on my neck, and he grabs my shoulder, laying me flat on my back. He hovers over me, still kissing and sucking on my neck. His lips leave my neck and capture my lips. The kiss is soft and passionate. He plops himself on his elbows to keep his weight off me. His right hand slides to my hip, and he gives it a little squeeze. A moan escaped my mouth, encouraging him. He bites my bottom lip, and I open my mouth for him. His lip slips into my mouth and starts exploring. My hands find their way to his hair. I weave my hands through his soft, thick hair and pull him closer. After a few minutes, we pull away, breathing heavily, in desperate need of oxygen. But he continues to pepper kisses on my jaw, neck, and throat. He pulled away and looked at me through hooded eyes, his smile matching mine.
That was amazing, baby.
He finally says and drops beside me. Yeah, I breathe out.
Then we should do it more often, don't you think?
I laugh at that. Why were your brothers here? So suddenly? I ask softly while his one hand slips into my hair and another to my waist, drawing patterns.
They came back yesterday from New Orleans. They had gone for 4 years for some wolf training. So when they got back, they came here to meet me and received the biggest shock of their lives, that I got my mate.
He explains and ducks his head in between my neck and shoulder. I love you, Damien, I blurt out and turn the other side. His hands on my body go stiff for a moment. I knew it was a bad decision. I should have never told him. Then I was turned around roughly, and again Damien hovering above me. His big, warm hands caress my cheeks as he looks deep in my eyes.
I have waited so long to hear those words from you, baby. I love you too. I love you so much.
Then he kissed me as if there was no tomorrow. I love this man-wolf.
Chapter 27. Damien's POV. Oh my God, was last night a dream? That was the first thought that crossed my mind when I opened my eyes. She told me that she loves me. It seems like all my dreams came true with those 3 words. And not to forget the hot making out. It felt like heaven. Just thinking about it makes me hard down there.
Good morning, Damien.
Her voice is so angelic. She turns over to face me and smile. I smile back and kiss her little button nose. So the sleeping beauty is finally awake. Good morning, baby. She nodded her head and says,
What are you thinking so much about?
Just about how lucky I am to be with you. What did I ever do to deserve a wonderful soul like you as my mate? She blushed and locked our hands together.
I should be thankful, Damien. I don't know what I would have done without you. I was really heartbroken. I lost all hope of being happy. At a point, I even tried to end my life, but Nora didn't let me. I guess she knew you would come, my knight in shining armor.
She ducked her head on my shoulder, and I rubbed her arms soothingly. I'm really sorry you had to go through all that shit. It's my duty to keep you safe and protected, but I didn't. But I will make it better. I will shower you with so much love that you will forget everything that happened in the past. Don't get me wrong, love, but a part of me is glad that Mason rejected you. Now you can be mine forever. Only mine. Mine to keep. Mine to love. And with those words said, I tightened my grip on her and closed my eyes, savoring the moment.
I'm glad too.
Her voice extremely quiet and cracking at the end. I loosened my grip and pulled away a little, just so I could see her cute little face, now covered with tears. I quickly wiped them off with my hands and cupped her cheeks in my hand. What?
I'm glad that Mason rejected me. No one could possibly love me, as much as you do, Damien. You loved me when I was covered in blood and bruises. I am weak, and you are still here. Anyone else would have left me, like Mason did. But you were there. Still are. I love you.
Her words felt like a pinch in my heart. My Bella is so fragile. How could anyone think of hurting her? But again, I witnessed it, so I can believe it. But what I can't believe is that what have I done to avenge her? Nothing. Those people hurt her, and I was waiting for a perfect moment. What a pathetic maid I am. Don't say that, Bella. You are beautiful, now and back then. I love you. I was in love with you even before I met you. I always dreamed of a mate like you. Sweet, caring, selfless, kind, shy. I can't describe my love for you. My love has no extent, no boundaries. Then I kissed her with everything in me, trying to prove my love to her. Knock, knock. A knock on the door made me groan in frustration. Bella pulled me away, giving me one last peck. She hopped off the bed and ran into the bathroom. I slipped on my shirt and was ready to give the person on the other side a little piece of my mind. I opened the door and was surprised to see a young girl, around 6 or 7, standing there with a tray of food in her hands. The tray was way too big for her little hands. I took the tray from her and looked at her with a small smile. "What are you doing here?" I asked softly. She didn't look up and kept her gaze at the floor. She was shifting on her legs and her hands were now locked behind her back.
You were late for breakfast, Alpha Damien, so Luna Morgana told me to deliver food to your room. I'm sorry if I'm late, Alpha,
she said in a quiet voice, which reminded me of Isabella's when I first spoke to her. Okay, you're not late. What is your name, and why did you bring the food? You should have told someone else, pretty girl. I crouched down to her level and lifted her face up with my fingers. She is such a cute little thing.
My name is Joey. They told me if I don't do it, they will give me to the monsters. If I tell them that I will not do anything, my mommy hits me. I'm scared.
Tears start to form in her big blue eyes. I heard a gasp behind me. Bella stood there with a hand on her mouth, keeping herself from sobbing, her tears falling freely down her cheeks. She jogs up to the door and hugs Joey. I know what she feels. She sees herself in the little girl. These people are monsters. They don't have any sense of humanity left inside them. She's no older than 7. She's a kid. It's her age to play and have fun, not cleaning other people's shit. Bella pulls away from Joey and gives a small smile. Joey smiles back. A cute girly smile. Joey, did you have your breakfast? I asked, and she shook her head no.
They don't let me have breakfast till everyone is done with theirs,
she said. I pull Bella up and pick Joey by her arms. I balance Joey on my hips and give the tray to Bella. Let's go and have some breakfast then, shall we? I sit her on the bed and place the tray full of food in front of her. I and Bella sit opposite her.
Come on, eat up, Joey.
Bella encourages her, and she picks up a small pineapple cube from the bowl. I sigh and pick up a fork and knife. I cut the chocolate chip pancake into a small bite size and bring it to her mouth. She stares at me with her wide eyes. Open up. Eat, I said, and she opened her mouth. I fed her a couple more times before she started eating by herself. Soon enough, we were full. Joey is giggling at something Bella said in her ear, while I stretch my hands and legs. Another knock on the door grabs our attention, and I have to open it, since the girls seem to be in their own land, laughing and giggling. I open the door and see a smirking Nate. I raise an eyebrow and silently ask, "What?" I seriously don't need any interruption today. I just want to spend some time with my princess. Is that too much to ask? Your mom called. And my knees almost gave out. Chapter 28, Part 1. Damien's POV. Your mom called. Why did she call? If she knew I found my mate and didn't tell her, she will throw a big fit. You see, my mom is a typical mother. She is really protective of her children and their mates. She loves everyone. She is not capable of hating anyone. so I'm sure she will love Bella. What I'm worried about is me. She won't let me off the hook, and I know Dad will join her. He is the puppet of her hands. You don't say. You turn into a lovesick puppy when it comes to our Bella, Dom said in my head. Same goes for you too, Dom. Never denied it. I sighed and looked back. Bella and Joey were cuddled on the bed. They must be tired after all the fun they had. That brought a smile to my face. But I have things to take care of. I have to talk to my mother first. Oh, God help me. I tell Nate to go, and I will handle things. I write a quick note for Bella and exit the bedroom. I don't want to disturb her sleep. I go to the rooftop and call her. Ring. Ring. Ring.
Damian Jameson Owen! What the hell is going on? You found your mate and didn't tell me?
Mom shouted. Mom, I'm sorry, I could not tell you right away. The situation was not good, and we had some problems here. That's why I had to stay here for a while, but I promise, I will bring her there soon.
What is her name?
She asked in a much calmer tone. I sighed. Isabella? A smile forming on my lips just thinking about her.
Oh, such a sweet name. What is she like?
I could feel her excitement from here. Yes, Mom, that's what you said when I heard her name, and she is so cute. She is very sweet, caring, kind, and basically everything it takes to be a perfect mate. And Luna. She's the best, I said proudly. My Bella makes me proud, and I will show her off to everyone.
Just bring her here, okay? I can't wait to meet her. For the time being, at least send a picture of her,
she requested. I know my mom is really happy. Of course, Mom. I'll send you a picture of her. Tell me if you like it. I sent her the prettiest picture of Bella. I took this picture sneakily. She was outside in the garden surrounded by flowers and the sun shining on her beautiful face. She looks like a goddess. I waited for a minute before calling again.
OMG! She is so pretty! You are one lucky man, Damie.
I groaned at the old nickname. Mom, don't call me that. And I know she's very pretty. Very pretty, I said, and I knew I had a wide smile on my face.
Damien, your dad wants to speak to you, and you better bring her here this weekend, for you know what.
She said the last part in a whisper. It was my parents' anniversary on Saturday. She is hosting a surprise party for Dad. I will ask her, Mom, but she is not comfortable around crowds. And if she doesn't want to come, then I won't force her. She's been through a lot, I explained.
Okay, but please at least try. I want to meet my future daughter-in-law. Now I'm giving the phone to your dad,
she said. Hello, Damien. How are you, son? My dad's happy voice always made me smile. I'm perfect, Dad. How are you? I asked, and paced around the rooftop. I want to check on Bella. Good. I heard you found your mate, and I saw the picture you sent. She is really pretty. I'm proud of you, son. Keep her happy, he said, and I nodded. Then I realized he couldn't see me, so I gave him a yes. Okay then, we will talk to you later. Hope to see you soon, son. Take care of yourself and Isabella. Bye. I hung up and made my way to the bedroom. I opened the door and saw Bella sitting on the bed staring at the walls. Baby, what are you doing? And where's Joey? I asked and closed the door behind me. She looked at me and smiled slightly. Not a bright smile. I frowned and sat beside her.
She left, saying she has work. I couldn't make her stay.
Baby, is something wrong? Tell me. Don't hide anything.
Damien, why is everyone so bad here? First they mistreated me, now Joey, then someone else. This will keep going. I don't like it,
she said in a sad voice. Baby, don't worry. I will set everything in its place. Everything will be all right. No one will suffer, I promise, I said, and hugged her. I shifted her on my lap and buried my head in her hair. Her head rested on my shoulder, and I felt her nod.
I trust you, Damien. I love you.
My heart soared at her words, and my frown was replaced by a big smile. I love you too, so much. I gave her a small kiss and pulled away from the hug. Baby, can I ask you something?
Anything, Damien.
Baby, There is a party at my pack this weekend, and my parents want you to come. It's their anniversary. If you don't feel comfortable, you can refuse. No one will force you, I said, looking at her face. She seemed to be thinking about it.
Okay, I'll go. But will you be with me the entire time? I don't want to be alone,
she said with a smile. Of course, baby. I will not leave you for a second. I'm so happy you agreed. My parents will be overjoyed that you said yes, I said, and kissed her cheeks. And before I could say anything else, there was a knock. What? I asked. Alpha, it's me, Nate. Open the door. I'm sure he does that on purpose. Come on, he always arrives at the wrong time. Come in, it's open. Nate strutted in, with an evil smile on his face. Now what? Alpha, I wish to speak to you, alone, he said.
Okay,
Bella said, and got off my lap. I gave her a last kiss and she left, much to my dismay. This better be good, Nate, or I swear I will break all of your bones. Damien, do you know what is today? He asked, avoiding my statement. Today is the 7th of February, 2018. Wrong. Today is Rose Day, he said. Rose Day? He was looking at me as if I was an alien. Rose Day! Valentine's week! Then it clicked. It's Valentine's week. Oh God, how could I forget? Oh God, what do I do now? I totally forgot. Nate, help me, I said. I have always wished to celebrate Valentine's Day with my mate, and when the chance finally arrived, I forgot. Don't worry, you're my best friend. I'll help you. Then we spent an hour surfing through the internet about ideas. It was absolutely useless. Then I figured out that if I want to make Bella feel special, I should do something original. And I know exactly what to do. Nate, I know what to do, I said with a smirk. And what might that be? He asked, narrowing his eyes suspiciously. I leaned closer and whispered in his ear. After the narration of the plan, I saw a smile forming on his lips. He nodded, and bro hugged me. She'll be flattered, Damien. This is so going to work. I rubbed my hands together. Now time to prepare for the plan ahead.
Part 2. Isabella's POV. I left Damien and Nate to talk and went to the kitchen. I love cooking, so let's make something. Gathering whatever was needed, I started to cook. As I was stirring some vegetables, I felt a presence behind me. So, what did Damien get you? A voice said behind me. I turned around to face Morgana. I decided to ignore her. I'm talking to you! Hello? She tried again. I finally graced her with my attention. Damien said that I was a princess, so I should behave like one. Not to take poop from anyone. But now she will not let me do my work unless she is done. What? I asked. She raised an eyebrow and scowled. I'm your Luna. You can't speak to me like that, she said, and for a second I was afraid of what she might do. Then I remembered. Even I'm a Luna. Not of this pack, but the Nightfall pack. Damien's pack. She should respect me too. That goes for you too, Luna Morgana. Even I am a Luna. Luna of Nightfall pack. You will address me with respect too, I said in a confident tone. I won't let them step over me. Not anymore. I will make Damien proud to call me his mate. So what did Damien get you? She asked. You know today is Rose Day, start of Valentine week. Guys get their girls roses and make them feel special, she said and giggled. Or I think she attempted to giggle. No, he didn't get me anything. He doesn't need to. Our relationship is based on love. It's not materialistic, I said. She just shrugged and smirked. Mason got me dozens of roses, all different colors. Isn't that romantic? He is so cute. He is the best mate ever, she said, and before I could reply, she left. I know what she is doing. She wants me to feel jealous. Jealous that she has Mason and that he showers her with gifts. But that it won't work. I don't need Mason now. I don't want him. I have a much better mate. Damien is everything I could ask for, and he is the best gift. I continued to cook, not thinking too much about her. Strong arms wrapped around my waist, and I knew it was Damien. He buried his face in my neck and inhaled. Then he kissed my cheek and rested his chin on my shoulder.
I'm so proud of you. I heard your conversation with Morgana. You are so confident now, and it's a very good thing. And you're right, you are the Luna of the Nightfall Pack. You are to be respected. And those who don't, they will have another thing coming,
he said. I leaned into his touch and closed my eyes.
And I think we should go out. Change of scenery will lift your mood. You know, just a small picnic outdoors. How does that sound?
I liked the idea. Yes, that will be so good, I said, and he leaned in for a kiss. But before our lips could meet, a clashing sound made us jump apart. I looked around and saw an innocent-looking Nate standing over a broken plate. He looked up and blinked, then walked away.
So be ready at 5. We will spend some time without interruption and have dinner, okay?
I nodded and he kissed my head.
Love you, baby.
Love you too. I was ready. I was wearing a simple pink dress. I tied my hair in a messy bun, and I was done. Damien had some business to take care of, so we didn't see each other the whole time. I came out of the bathroom once I was ready and saw Damien patiently waiting for me. He saw me approaching and smiled. His eyes roamed over my body.
You look like a doll, baby, so cute.
He came and hugged me. His scent was so intoxicating, heavenly, like fresh rain. He was wearing dark jeans and a red button-down shirt. He managed to look like a runway model even in simple shirt and jeans. How did I get so lucky? I don't know. You look good, I complimented. He took my hand in his and led the way.
Thanks,
he said and smiled. We walked out, his hand securely wrapped around my waist. He led me to his car and opened the passenger door for me. He helped me in and buckled the seatbelt. He sat on the driver's seat and started driving. Where are we going? I asked curiously.
Not telling. It's a surprise,
he said with an amused smile gracing his lips. I became excited. This will be my first surprise. I never received surprises from anyone. I squealed and mumbled an okay, which only made him laugh. An hour later. I hate surprises. We are on the road for an hour now, and Damien won't tell me where we are going. My patience is wearing off now, and I really want to know where we are going.
We're nearly there, baby,
Damien said, and I huffed. It's been like this for so long, and now I'm getting hungry.
Okay, we are here,
Damien announced, and I instantly perked up. I tried to look outside, but Damien didn't let me.
Wait, baby, first we need to tie this around your pretty eyes,
he said, and revealed a long piece of clothing, a blindfold. I pouted, but closed my eyes anyway. I felt him tie the soft cloth around my head. I felt his lips on mine, in a quick kiss, and I smiled. I felt him get out of the car, and soon enough he was at my side. He took my hand in his and guided me through the unknown path. I clung to him for my dear life. The air around me was a bit cold, and I shivered. Damien wrapped his arm around me, and I leaned into his warm embrace. After walking for 5 minutes, we finally stopped. Damien pulled the blindfold off my eyes, and I blinked a few times. I looked in front of me and gasped. We were in a big garden, with lanterns hanging on the branches of trees. There was a path lined with flowers leading to a gazebo. The place was filled with white roses, my favorite. I clasped my hand over my mouth, and my eyes widened. I turned around to face Damien, but found nothing. I looked down and gasped again. Damien was on his knees, holding a bouquet of red roses in his hands, with a charming smile. That made me all mushy inside. I swear I melted at that sight, faster than an ice. Oh, Damien, I honestly don't know what to say. I am too much in shock to say anything.
Bella, happy Rose Day. I wanted to do something you would like, but this is the only idea that crossed my mind. I hope you like...
Before he could continue his nervous ramble, I launched myself on him. I wrapped my arms tightly around his neck and his hands firmly on my back. I love it! You are the best! I love you, I said, my voice muffling slightly. He chuckled softly and pulled away. He stood up, pulling me with him, and handed me the bouquet. I gladly accepted them and inhaled the fresh scent of the roses.
The surprise is not over, sweetheart.
I looked at him. There is more? What? There is more?
Yep. Now, turn around.
I turned my back to him as he said. I could feel his presence behind me. He held a hand over my eyes, silently telling me to close them. I did. I felt something cold on my neck. I opened my eyes and looked down to my chest, only to gasp again. A small ruby pendant was wrapped around my neck in a golden chain. It was simple and elegant, and I loved it. Tears stung my eyes and I sniffed. Damien held me in his arms. He lifted my face and I saw a glimpse of worry in his beautiful dark eyes.
Baby, if you don't like it, you don't have to.
This time I cut him off with a kiss. The kiss was anything but gentle. It was rough and needy. My hands found its way to his hair and tugged on it, earning a groan from him. Our lips moving in sync. His lips molded mine as if I were made for them. I moaned when his tongue swept on my lower lip, asking for entry. I gladly parted my lips and his tongue slipped in my mouth, exploring every inch of it. After a few minutes, he pulled away and rested his forehead on mine. I was breathing heavily, like he was. A smile broke on his lips, then he chuckled. "What? So funny," I said, still struggling to breathe.
Nothing, just really happy.
"Oh,"
Best day ever.
he said, and I nodded in agreement. After our little moment, we had dinner at the gazebo. I was again surprised when he said that he had prepared the dinner himself. He went to a restaurant that he owned and cooked there, so that I won't get suspicious. After dinner, we walked around the garden, talking about anything and everything. We realized it was pretty late and we should get going. He drove while I just looked out of the window, twirling the pendant on my neck. "When did you get this?" I asked.
The day we went to the mall, when I was gone to get lunch, I saw this pendant in a jewelry store, and I thought it would look good on you, but I never got the chance to give it to you.
He said with a sigh. I rested my hand on top of his free hand and rubbed my thumb over his knuckles. He smiled at me and I smiled back. Today was definitely the best day of my life.
Chapter 29, Damien's POV. All my effort was worth it. Just seeing that bright smile on her face makes my day, and being the reason behind that smile gives me a satisfaction. The toughest part was the dinner. I know nothing about cooking, but the chefs at the restaurant helped a lot, and the result was good. After dinner, I gave her the pendant I had brought for her. Her eyes reflected pure happiness. I was happy to see her like this. I want her to always be this way. We arrived at her pack house and went straight to our room. I know she is exhausted, and I am too. We showered one by one. Bella wore one of my t-shirts and some shorts. She was drowning in my clothes, but still looked adorable. We snuggled together in bed, seeking warmth from each other. I pulled her more to me, her back pushed against my chest. Her scent was like an addiction. I don't mind being an addict. Good night, baby. Sweet dreams.
Good night, Damien. Dream happy,
she said in a sleepy voice. I chuckled softly at her choice of words. She was truly an adorable baby. I kissed her cheek and closed my eyes. After some time, sleep took over.
Damien, wake up! Wake up!
A soft voice said in my ear, and soft hands shook my body. I knew it was Bella, so I teased a little. I grabbed her hands and pulled her on top of me, eyes still closed. As soon as she fell on me, I closed my hands around her body so she wouldn't get off.
Oof! Let go!
She said, but her voice was muffled. No, I said, and gave an evil laugh.
Damien, I can't breathe,
she said, and took 2 long breaths. I quickly let her go and held her hand. Sorry, are you okay? I didn't mean to... I was cut off by her laugh. I narrowed my eyes at her. She tricked me. That adorable little thing can't even get mad at her. A small smile made its way to my lips. I hugged Bella and sighed. You got me worried there, I said, and she just laughed. God, I love her laugh. You should laugh more, I said. And guess what she did? Laugh.
Okay, now get out of bed. Today is Friday and I have to go shopping. We are visiting your parents tomorrow, remember?
She said, and I mentally face-palmed. How could I forget? Oh, yes, I forgot. Now that Nina is busy with Adam, I will accompany you, baby doll, I said and flicked her nose.
I showered already. Now get your butt in the bathroom before I eat your breakfast.
She attempted to threaten me, but she failed. How cute. I just smiled and kissed her. She squealed at my surprise action but didn't protest. I pulled away and gave her a sheepish look.
Get up, Damien.
It took me less than 5 seconds to run to the bathroom. I showered, brushed my teeth, and whatnot before I was fully dressed to go out. Bella wore a simple white V-neck and blue jeans. I took her hand in mine and went downstairs for breakfast. I sat on my seat and pulled Bella on my lap as always. Joey came in and served everyone. I looked at Mason and then at Morgana. Both were engrossed in a talk with each other. I have to do something for people here. People like Joey and Bella, who are defenseless. Alpha Mason, do you realize that a child around the age of 6 or 7 is being forced labored in the pack of yours? I asked, in a hard tone that I use when I attend serious business. Yes, Alpha Damien, he answered. I closed my eyes and sighed. He didn't even know that this is an offense in both human and werewolf worlds. Such an ignorant bastard. Well, Alpha Mason, if you don't stop these illegal practices, then according to the werewolf law, I have to arrest you, and you will be punished, or better yet, stripped of your title, I said, my eyes still focused on Bella as I was slowly feeding her as always. Everyone looked at me with widened eyes and mouth open. Yes, I have the power to do that. I am an uncrowned king. My family is respected all over the continent, even the whole world. And we were voted to become the council, a council to keep the werewolf laws in action, to keep bastards like Mason leashed. You can't do that, Mason stuttered. Try me. He huffed and nodded in defeat, obeying my order. From now on, everyone will do their own shit. No one is going to do work for you, so you better learn to do it yourself, I said, and finished feeding Bella and myself. They all nodded and I got up with Bella. We were planning to go to the mall because she wanted to get something for my parents. We arrived at the mall and she started looking around for an appropriate gift for my parents. She would ask for my opinion every now and then. After 2 hours of roaming every store in sight, Bella finally found a suitable gift for my parents. God, shopping is tiring. Then we brought some accessories to go with the dress she's wearing at the party. By the time we were done, it was already lunchtime, so we decided to eat at a small restaurant. We were seated at a quarter table. The place was full, but not stuffy. A waitress approached us with 2 menus. I guess she wore her little sister's dress. It was tiny. The moment I saw her, I disliked her. I kept my eyes focused on my Bella, who was sitting beside me. I took her hand in mine and caressed it.
Hey, what would you like to have, mister?
The sultry voice made my head ache. Baby, look at the menu and tell me whatever you want, I told Bella, and gave her the menu. She scanned her eyes around the menu and sighed. She bit her bottom lip and turned to me. I raised an eyebrow expectantly.
I would like a bowl of tomato soup with crisp toasted bread with a side of mixed salad. Grilled chicken with barbecue sauce with a side of green salad for Damien. That would be all, thank you,
Bella said, and flashed the waitress a winning smile. The waitress took our order and left. And that's when I broke out laughing. That was hilarious. Did you see her face? Oh my God, Bella. I love you. I pulled her to me and kissed her forehead.
I hope you don't mind me ordering for you.
Oh, hush. I like that you ordered for me. And I like what you ordered for me, I said. Our order arrived 15 minutes later, and we digged in. The food was really good, but not as good as Bella makes. She serves heaven on plates. On our way home, it was silent. No one spoke. It was not an uncomfortable silence, a peaceful one. We just held hands and smiled at each other occasionally. We reached the pack house and went straight to our room. Nate was not here today. Mom called him to help her with some arrangements. I have to go back to my pack soon, and I plan to take my Bella with me. Tomorrow after the party, I will ask her to move in with me, to the pack house. Hope she says yes. After we were refreshed, we watched a movie and cuddled on the bed. It was now time for dinner. We went down and took our seats. I noticed that the dinner was cooked by the Omegas and everyone is serving themselves. I mentally smiled. We ate dinner quietly. Bella's eyes started to droop and was yawning every so often. I finished dinner and carried her upstairs. I laid her down on the bed and changed my clothes. I didn't change her clothes. I don't want her thinking I'm a pervert, so I let her be. Lying beside her, I pulled her to me and rested my head in the crook of her neck. Inhaling her scent calmed me down a little. Tomorrow she will be meeting my pack. My parents, I'm not worried about them accepting her. I'm worried if she will accept them. What if she's afraid? What if she thinks it's too early? Will she think I'm pushing her? There are many what ifs, but I guess I have to wait till tomorrow. With that thought, I snuggled into my Bella's warmth and let darkness take over me.
Chapter 30, Isabella's POV. I was a nervous wreck. I was calm from the outside, but inside I was freaking out. I didn't know the thought of meeting Damien's parents would affect me so much. I can't believe how I was so calm yesterday. I was happily shopping for gifts for his parents, and now I think I will pass out. What if they don't like me? What if they feel I'm not worthy of Damien because I was an Omega? What if his pack hates me? Oh God, I am going crazy.
Baby, you ready? We have to leave.
Damien poked his head from the door and said. His voice somehow mysteriously calmed me down a little, or maybe the fact that he will be with me the whole time. I gave myself one last look in the mirror and sighed. I took my purse and opened the door for Damien. I wore a light pink floor-length dress. It was a theme party. Ladies have to wear gowns and men have to wear suits. Damien chose the dress for me, and I'm really glad he did. It looks pretty good on me. I wore diamond studs and the ruby pendant that Damien gave me. It didn't match with the gown, but I'm never going to take it off of my neck. It's very special.
Whoa, you look like a princess.
Damien's voice brought me out of my thoughts. He was looking at me with wide eyes. By the time he observed me, I took the liberty to check him out. He was wearing a black suit with a pink shirt and a gray tie. I can't believe he actually wore a pink shirt. I thought he will wear a white shirt or something, 'cause guys don't wear pink. But he said he will match with me, and he selected the pink dress. He pulled me to him and kissed me, catching me off guard. I was stunned at first, but soon responded to him. After a beautiful kiss, he looped his hand in mine and escorted me downstairs. Everyone was staring at us. They knew we were going to his pack, and most of the people assured me that no one will like me there. But Damien said his pack will like me, and his parents already love me. I believe both of them. But I believe Damien more than them, so I'm not scared. But I can't help but be nervous. Damien opened the back door of the expensive car he owns and closed the door behind me. Soon he slid beside me, and the driver started to drive. It was an hour drive, and I was already clutching Damien's hand for dear life.
Baby, don't worry. They all already love you. You have absolutely nothing to worry about. Believe me.
He said, and squished me to his side. I believe him, but I don't believe in my luck. I seem to have absolutely no luck when it comes to matter like these. I believe you. I placed my head on his shoulder, and he stroked my hair with his large, warm hands.
Sir, we are here.
As soon as those words left the driver's mouth, I felt my throat getting dry. I took a deep breath and closed my eyes. I opened my eyes and Damien gave me a reassuring smile. I smiled a shaky smile. He got out of the car and came to my side to open the door. I took his outstretched hand and got out of the car too. The driver drove off to park the car and we stood in front of a giant stone house. It had 4 floors and was all white. The front door was open and I could hear the songs playing from a distance. Damien tugged at our intertwined hands and nodded towards the house. I walked with him up the stairs, and as soon as we reached the entrance, I resisted the urge to hide behind him. The room was the size of a ballroom, but it had to be the living room or the hall. People were spread everywhere, mingling and drinking wine. Everyone looked so sophisticated, so good. We stepped in and I was immediately tackled by someone. The person squished me in their arms and let out a low squeal.
Mom, let her breathe. Don't kill my mate yet.
Damien said, and the person, his mom, left me. Oh my God, you look much more pretty in person. That picture did not do justice to your beauty, honey. You are so adorable. She gushed out. She looked around her mid-40s. She had dark brown hair and bright blue eyes. Odd combination, but looked good on her.
Hello. It's good to meet you, dear. I'm Harold, Damien's father.
A man who looked somewhat like Damien said with a warm smile, and extended his hand for me to shake. I shook his hand and gave him a polite nod. "It's good to meet you too, sir," I said and gave a nervous smile.
Ugh, no formalities, dear. Call me Harold or Dad. We are family. You are no less than Nina for me. You are both my daughters. You being an exceptionally cute one,"
he said and chuckled. I felt moisture build in my eyes and smiled at him. "Of course, honey. You are family, and family don't do formalities. Call me Lily or Mom," she said and gave me a hug, much lighter one. I tried to control the tears in my eyes, but being the stubborn creation of God, they had to flow down my cheeks. I wiped them before anyone could notice and smiled again. A family. I had a family now. I can't ask for more.
Mom, Dad, why don't you guys attend your guests? I want to give Bella a tour of the house real quick. We'll join you soon,"
Damien said, and both of them nodded and hugged us once more before leaving. Damien took my hand in his and gently pulled me with him. He guided me upstairs and into a corridor with 3 doors. He opened the first door and motioned me to go in. I stepped in and knew it was his room. It was just so... him. He came up behind me and hugged me, his fresh minty breath fanning on my neck, his hands resting on my stomach. I placed my hands on his and leaned into him. His arms tightened around me and he sighed.
"Why were you crying, baby?"
Those words got my attention. I was going to tell him that I was not crying when he cut me off.
"Don't you dare lie, sweetheart. I saw those tears on your face before you wiped them off. Is something wrong? You know you can tell me."
Nothing is wrong, Damien. It's just that I never had an actual family before. Nothing. And now I have everything I could ever ask for. A family, a beautiful mate. I'm just happy. Those were happy tears, I said and flashed him a brilliant smile.
"So you think I'm beautiful?"
he said and wiggled his eyebrows. I rolled my eyes and shook my head at him. Of course he would only get that part. "Of course you are beautiful. You are the most beautiful man I've ever seen," I replied.
Oh God, stop now. You are the most beautiful person, baby, inside and out.
He laughed and held me in his arms. "I love you so much."
I love you more, much more than you can think, baby.
He kissed my head and then continued to pepper kisses all over my face.
Now, let's go before our parents send a search party to find us.
I nodded and followed him out. The party was at full swing. Some guests came and greeted Damien, and he proudly introduced me as his mate. All of them were surprised at first, but soon recovered and gave their best wishes to us. Everything was going fine, until a certain someone decided to ruin it for us. It was so obviously some girl had to come and flirt with Damien, and this girl was from his pack, so I can't tell her off. Not that I can tell anyone off. "Hi, Damien. Where were you? You were gone so long, I missed you. But now that you are here, we can..." I cleared my throat and got her attention before she could continue. Can't you see that Damien is not interested? He is busy speaking to some old man, not even looking at her. "Oh, you are who?" she asked in a not-so-polite voice, and I felt Damien's arms tighten around me. "Hi, I'm Isabella, Damien's mate. Pleasure to meet you." There was nothing pleasurable about meeting her. "Stop lying, you bit!" Before she could finish, a voice interrupted her.
Think first before you speak, Kelly. You don't want your Luna to be upset with you, or do you?
Damien said coldly. "It's Sally, not Kelly. But I am the Luna. I already sent cards to my friends for the celebration. I know I'm your mate. I can feel the pull, Damien," she said, and the crowd went silent. "Keep your hands off my mate, Sally. We both know very well he is not your mate. He is mine. So it will be better if you just accept the fact and leave us alone," I said in a calm tone. Damien just tightened his hands around me and planted a kiss on my forehead, as if to prove my point. "You heard her. Now scram!" someone from the crowd shouted, and the others hooted in agreement. By now, Sally looked like a ball of fire. If you looked close enough, you could see smoke coming out of her ears. Her face was completely red with anger, but she knew better than to go against her pack. She turned on her heels and stormed off.
Okay, everyone, the drama queen is gone now, so enjoy the party.
Nate yelled from what looked like a DJ setup. I saw him put on headphones, and then the music blasted from every corner. I turned to face Damien, with a surprised look on his face. He just smirked at Nate's direction, then shifted his gaze to me before pulling me to the area where everyone was dancing. Nate played a remix version of Thinking Out Loud by Ed Sheeran. We danced like crazy for I don't know how long, before we could not stand straight. Damien had taken off his jacket and slung it over his shoulder. It was already 1 a.m, and most of the guests had left. Damien and I made our way upstairs and yelled a good night to everyone. As soon as we entered his room, we flung ourselves at the poor bed. We didn't bother to change our clothes and just cuddled together. Today went well.